Frostburn is a 3.5 D&D book detailing a campaign setting and adventuring options in frozen tundras, and it's actually a pretty interesting book. Like most supplemental materials, it expands upon D&D by adding new mechanics, classes, feats, and most importantly, spells. In my time playing Dungeons & Dragons, I have learned many valuable lessons. Never leave the lizard man alone at the orphanage, never give the goblin a gun, and never try and steal from a shop. The owner will absolutely be a secret martial arts master. But more important than any of those is vet everything your players want to get. This is a story of how, after a single use of a spell, I one-shot a boss, ended a session early, and got my DM to ban his first spell ever. Why did I do this? Because I'm just that petty. During one of the first campaigns that I played with that would later become my permanent D&D group, we played a mix of D&D 3rd edition and 3.5, and if you want to know what that was like, don't do that. My character was a Dragonrot Kobold Sorcerer, and in-game, all this meant as I was a more dragony kobold than most, so it made my spells better. Also, I had wings. Now, what anyone who has played D&D can tell you is that spellcasters are busted, and can very easily just invalidate many challenges put into a campaign. Be it combat, puzzles, diplomacy, anything and everything is on the table when a wizard is involved. That wasn't me, though. I didn't want to be one of those nerds who masterfully control the battlefield, manipulating the forces of reality with the power of my mind and forcing even the gods themselves to bow to me. No. I just wanted to set stuff on fire. I had all the classics from Magic Missile, Fireball, Lightning Bolt, you know, standard fare. I was in for quite the wake-up call in regards to my damage potential, as it was quickly demonstrated by full attacking martial classes with power attack, so it was not long before my spells were falling extremely short of bow and fist go brr, and I was getting frustrated. I knew I could just lean into battlefield control, but that would feel like admitting defeat, that the DM was right, and a blaster caster isn't that great, but I wasn't having any of that. So, my great hunt began after our next level up, combing through the literal mountain of 3.0 and 3.5 supplemental materials, both hardcover and third-party, trying to find something, anything, that would be more than just good. I wanted something absolutely disgusting. I wanted to find something that would make it so my parents wouldn't look at me the same ever again. Little I know anime would accomplish the same thing, and it was while my friends and I were playing a children's card game at a local game store that I found it. I spent the time between rounds looking at the D&D books they carried that none of us owned, and that's when I discovered Frostburn. Our game wasn't set in a tundra, so it was mostly out of idle curiosity and that I have nothing to lose. The magic items were neat, but nothing to write home about. The feats and classes the same. With this in mind, I expected the same from the spells, but I was this far in and figured, why not? Most were centric to surviving in an icy wasteland, which is to be expected, and didn't really apply at all. That was until I came across a specific 3rd level spell that I was positive had to be a typo. I reread it dozens of times trying to make sense of it, sure that it couldn't be true. Not wanting to reveal it to my D&D group, I bought the book and took it home. I showed it to my older brother who, while not part of my group, was still into D&D as well. When his jaw hit the floor and he looked at me with a level of disgust and disdain that has never before nor since been repeated, I knew I'd struck gold. So cut to the next session, and we were venturing into a cave in search of a magic crystal MacGuffin. After fighting through the creatures that lived there and discovering the crystal, we were attacked suddenly by a massive 12-headed hydra. Now, keep in mind, normally this wouldn't have been a huge issue for our party, but I made the mistake of running in first and immediately got grabbed. So there I was, this tiny, squishy, kobold sorcerer, looking down the barrel of a 12-headed hydra with my companions too far away to help soon enough. We roll initiative, and I go first. The hydra next. So I reached out and said the words that were the fruit of my labor. I cast Shivering Touch. What is that? A spell I got last level. I make a touch attack. Okay. So I roll, and as it's a giant hydra, its touch AC is laughable, so I hit. Now, this is where the fun begins. Shivering Touch is a spell that allows for no save, and deals 3d6 dexterity damage. Period. No minimum 1, just straight 3d6 dex damage. And for those of you that don't know, if a physical stat hits 0, you become paralyzed. So I roll, the hydra drops. I don't think I've ever gotten more of a death stare from my DM in all these years, because after a moment he just whispers, I'm banning that fucking spell. And that, everybody, is why you don't let your players pick from official material without supervision, because people like me exist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.